If your kids took your current life, would you be proud? Would that be a gift you're giving them or a curse? And that is the reality of what you're doing. You have an 8-year-old boy, and you handed him your weight, your self-confidence, your identity, your habits. Would you be happy and proud? Would you say, yes, I'm lifting my son up? Or would you be saying, I'm handing him an infinite amount of baggage and a massive hurdle to overcome, a mountain to climb? So if you are extremely overweight and you've allowed yourself to crumble and fall to this form that is unrecognizable, and you've lost all your discipline and you can't control what you're putting in your mouth, then your children are absorbing it. This is going to be a Rising Father podcast. This is going to be streamed. I'm hopefully streaming on multiple places, not just Instagram. I'm trying to stream with Riverside, trying to stream to multiple sources for the very first time. We'll see if it works out. It might work out, might not work out. But I have 2 different fatherhood concepts I'm going to talk about, and I also wrote down 4 or 5 different Men of Fire application concerns that guys have that I'm going to go over, like reasons guys apply for our program that are really deep, things that are holding them back, issues that guys want to talk about and they want solved. But first, I wanted to just do a Rising Father podcast and talk about these 2 different concepts. So welcome everyone. I haven't done a live at this late in the day before, so I might be a little sleepy. So hello, what's going on? If I stumble some words, it's all right. Failure's okay, everybody. So if I mess up, just forgive me. So the first thing is I was asleep last night and I woke up at 3:45, 4 a.m. and I'm supposed to wake up then, but I had this real temptation to go back to sleep. I did not feel like getting up and going to the gym, which I ended up doing. It was leg day today, so I really didn't feel like doing it. But this scary feeling came into my stomach, and I heard my son's voice kind of echoing in my head, and all these promises that I made him were just bouncing around my brain. I told my son that we would go hunting. I said we were gonna hunt together. We haven't done that yet. I told him that we would do archery. We did archery 2 years ago for an entire summer. Then someone stepped on my bow and arrow and broke it. Someone stepped on it, and no one knows who did it. But all last year we didn't do it. And last year a few times Nathan said, hey, we're going to do bow and arrow again. I said, yeah, and we didn't. So I woke up, and that was keeping me awake. It was just Nathan saying, I could hear his voice in my head saying, Dad, are we going to do archery? And I could hear myself saying, yes, yeah, we are, tomorrow, next month. We're going to do it later. And that scared the shit out of me because he's 10 years old now, and I could see easily, if I do nothing about it, I could see him turning 12 and me saying the same things, yeah, in the summer we'll get that bow for you. And then he's 14 and me saying, yeah, next year we'll do it. And he's 16, he doesn't want to do it anymore. 18 moves out. And then after he moves out, I'll be alive for 40, 50, 60 more years. And I'll have those haunting thoughts echoing around in my head for the rest of my life. For the rest of my life, I'll have those thoughts bouncing around my head of broken promises that I made my kids. And I cannot have that happen. I will not have that happen. So I wrote down, I do not want broken promises that I made to my kids echoing around my brain for the rest of my life. Cannot have that happen. Even the small things, big things and small things. Nathan thinks that, when in a couple years we're going to move to a farm and get a couple dogs and have them run around. That's on my goal list, on my vision board, on things I want to happen. I want to move to a bigger property with more land so my dogs so we can get some more dogs. They can run around, the kids can spread out. That's something I want to do. So I'm going to make sure that happens. That's a big thing, right? That's a big thing. I also told Nathan I would help him build a business. I would help him build a brand. I would help him create wealth for himself. That's something that's really important for me. But also, when he's a child right now, there's things that I do not want to let go, such as the bow and arrow. I know he badly wants to play with me. He badly wants to spend that one-on-one time, go down to the range, and just shoot with me. And it means a lot to him because he keeps on bringing it up. So what I do is, it was 4 a.m., I pulled up Amazon, I ordered the bow, and it's going to get here today or tomorrow. So today or tomorrow, the bow is going to show up. I'm going to set it up, and then a couple of days later, we're going to go shoot. I need to check that off. That yes, we are doing that once again. I'm not going to let another week or month or year pass where I said we're going to do something, and we don't. The summer's coming up. Kids are done with school in a couple weeks, and Nathan and Lauren, they have all these plans for things we're going to do in the summer. I still have to build my business. I still have to bring people into the community. I still have to grow my brand. I still have to grow this company and provide for the family, right? Still have to do that. But also, my son's 10, my daughter's 8, and I only have so many summers left where they're going to be living here with me and want to spend every single second with me. If I said yes, my kids would spend 100% of the time with me. All hours of the day they would. They're still at that age where they want to spend time with me 100% of the time. I'm lucky because I know people have kids 10 and 8 years old, and that's not the case. My kids love me so much. They love their mom so much, and we adore them. We have a great relationship, and they want to, at all times, cuddle us, hug us, go play basketball, play video games, watch movies with us. They want to be around us all the time, and I need to make sure that I don't waste that, because there's never going to be a time in my life where people love me as much as my kids love me right now. Even I know my wife loves me, okay, but it's different than what comes from your kids. Whenever your kids love you, you're one of a few people in their life that they know. When coming from an 8 and a 10-year-old, you're one of a few people that they know, and you mean the world to them. Like you, Sarah, we are these massive presence in their life, and we mean everything to them. I'm not going to squander that. So when Lauren says, "Hey, Dad, this summer, are we going to go on a rope swing every day?" Yes, we will. We will. I'll do it for you. I'll go on the rope swing with you. We have a rope swing in our backyard. It's the most important thing in the world to her. She loves that thing so much. She could go on the rope swing every single day of her life and be really, really happy. And Nathan, he likes playing basketball. He likes playing video games. He likes watching Lord of the Rings and doing that kind of stuff. I'm going to make sure that every single day we're doing something like that with him. Do not want to squander this opportunity. I don't want it to go away. So for him, it's the bow and arrow. That's what I made sure I'm going to do. And other little things that he wants to do. I'm going to make sure that we check those off. I've got a list. I said, Nathan and Lauren, by tomorrow, I want you guys to have a list of things that you want to do for this summer that we can check off the list and make sure we do them. Because I do not want the summer to go by, my kids turn 11 and 9, and we say, ooh, now I have 7 years left. And then the next year goes by, I didn't do those things. Now I have 6 years left. And then another year goes by, I say, well, now I have 5 years left. And then a couple weeks ago, Nathan comes up to me and says, hey, Dad, can we go on a man trip this year? And I just said, I didn't even think about it. I just said, yep, we will. He said, I want to go to Virginia. I said, sure, we'll go to Virginia for a couple nights. And he got real excited, red in the face. He's like, yes, Dad. And he flexed. He said, we're going to make marshmallows, we're going to have steak, and we're going to stay up real late. We're going to look at the stars. I just said yes to everything. I'm going to make sure that happens. Because once again, I cannot let this time go and not do these things with him, or else I will be haunted for the rest of my life. I will hear Nathan's voice in my head as a 60-year-old man saying, hey, Dad, can we go camping? Can we go on a man trip? And if I said no and I didn't do that, I would just hear that as like an echo in the back of my brain. Hey, Dad, can we do that? No. Sorry, I don't have time, son. Sorry, we didn't do that. I'll hear these broken promises. Or if I say yes, I already said yes, and I don't do it this summer, that will haunt me for the rest of my life. A lot of times we make promises to do things with our kids, and then we don't do it. I hear that a lot from guys in my group. They say their dad was like, always said things such as, yeah, we're going to go, I'll take you fishing, son. Or we're going to go camping. Or I'm going to do this father-son time with you. And then when the time came, they never did it. And the son, the guy in my group, 40, 50 years later, is still thinking about that every single day. They're still thinking about the loss of their father not spending time with them, that absent father, the father that made a promise but broke it. And it might not mean anything to that father, but it means everything to the kid. The kid still remembers it, and he's going to remember that for the rest of his life. He's going to feel that yearning for that father-son bond. It means more to them, and they love on a level that we don't understand. Like, our kids love on a level that we do not understand. Or we mean so much to them, and part of this is because they are, like, we are a larger percentage of their life than they are of ours. Like, I know 1,000 people. My son knows 10 people. You know, I am very close with a lot of people. My son, I am everything to him. When he thinks about the summer, he thinks, what am I going to do with my dad? What am I going to do with mom? When I think of the summer, I'm thinking about all the business things I have to do, in addition to what I'm going to do with my kids and my wife and the vacations we're going to go on and trips and events I'm going to plan for my business and all these different things I have to do. In addition to all that, yes, it's what am I going to do with my kids. But for Nathan and Lauren, when they're thinking about the summer, they're thinking, okay, the summer's coming up. What are mom and dad going to do with me? What are mom and dad going to do with me? We are everything to them. So if I break these promises to them, I'm just cutting out their heart and crushing them on the inside. And that's how I think about it. So I'm trying really, really hard not to break any of these small things my kids want to do, any of these small promises, because they may be small to me, but they mean everything to them. So I don't want to break promises to them because it will hurt them right now. And also, I don't want to live with that regret and that haunting memory for the rest of my life. I don't want to live for the rest of my life with the sound of my daughter and son's voice in my head saying, hey, Dad, can we? And me saying yes, and then we didn't do it. And 20 years from now, I'll be laying in bed trying to go to sleep, and I'll remember my son asking me to play archery and me saying yes, but we never did. I'm already thinking about that now, how I didn't do it last year. I'm not going to be 60, 80 years old thinking about those things. Because I know it happens. It already happens to me, is happening to me right now, of things that I said I would do and that I feel like I'm running out of time, like going hunting. I don't know how to hunt, but I told my son I would hunt. I told my son we would go hunting together, so I need to make sure I learn how to hunt. He's super excited about that. So I gotta build myself. I have to learn how to do that. I need to get my shit together so I can take him on that. Archery, basketball, man trip. He wants to go watch Lord of the Rings in the movie theaters this summer. All these things I want to make sure I do with them. So those are the two fatherhood concepts I wanted to talk about. Let me scroll through. Anyone's on Instagram. What's up, guys? Feel free to put any comments, anything you want in here. The other thing I wanted to do is I wrote down a couple of these application problems that guys wrote for the Men of Fire program. So whenever you fill out an application to join my program, you have 9 or 10 questions to fill out. And it's things that are bothering you, like why you want to join, why you want to transform your life, why you want to change your life. And guys in my program are doing that. But obviously we get more applications because not everyone's accepted, so we get applications from people who want to join. I'm just going to go through a couple of the common ones that I receive, and maybe you can relate to them. So one of the ones is, my biggest fear is that my kids are as overweight as I am. So from people, one of the things you can do, what will happen if you join us is you will get in the best shape of your life. If you've seen our testimonials, if you see our before and after pictures, you will get shredded in the best shape of your life. You'll have energy. You'll be very athletic. Even if you don't want to get ripped, you will get in the best shape of your life. You'll be very strong, fast, and you'll have a lot of energy. So some guy said, he is answering the question, why do you want to join us? He said, my biggest fear is that my kids will be as overweight as I am. So is that realistic? Yes, it is. I can tell you as a teacher, yes, it is. I've seen thousands and thousands of kids. I was a teacher for 15 years. Total teacher 20 years, counting my private saxophone lessons I taught. And the kids that were overweight had overweight parents. Almost 90% of the time. Very rarely was there a kid who was obese or overweight and the parent was ripped in shape and disciplined. If the parents are disciplined, the kids are disciplined. A kid that is very with it has very with it parents. A kid that is sloppy, undisciplined, overweight, I already know what that parent is going to look like at the parent-teacher conference. And I'm not a teacher anymore, but I was a teacher last year at this time. My wife's a teacher. It's always the case. So yes, that is a really legitimate fear. Probably my biggest fear is that my kids will be as overweight as I am. And what I like to ask people is, if your kids took your current life, would you be proud? Would that be a gift you're giving them or a curse? So let me say that again. If you handed your kids your life from right now, would you be handing your kids a gift or a curse with how you are living your life? And that is the reality of what you're doing. So right now, your habits. If you're 35 years old and you have an 8-year-old boy, if he was 35 years old and you handed him your weight, your self-confidence, your identity, your habits, would you be happy and proud? Would you say, yes, I'm lifting my son up? Or would you be saying, I'm handing him an infinite amount of baggage and a massive hurdle to overcome, a mountain to climb? So if you are extremely overweight and you've allowed yourself to crumble and fall to this form that is unrecognizable, and you've lost all your discipline and you can't control what you're putting in your mouth, then your children are absorbing that. Then your child is probably already overweight, and he is that kid that I saw in school there was a kid in school, I will never forget this. He had varicose veins. He was in middle school. He had the veins of a 60-year-old woman, and he was shorter than me, was over 300 pounds, and he always carried on a backpack. One of the days, his backpack looked like it had bricks in it. And one day I said, "What is in your backpack, man?" He was a cool kid. He was funny, but his skin was papery thin. He looked very unhealthy. His biological age was probably 50 in middle school. He had 8 cans of Mountain Dew in his backpack for the day. He would just drink them throughout the day. So, as best I could, in the middle of a 100-person band class, I tried to tell him that wasn't very healthy for him. But that was, my influence on him is 1,000th of his day. I talked to him about that for 2 minutes. He then had the rest of the minutes of his 24-hour day, with most of them being at home with his parents. Guess what, parents? You have the largest influence over your children. Not with the learning at school. That is your responsibility. So this kid, and even if his parents didn't know that he had 8 cans of Mountain Dew in his backpack, they could see what he's doing. They'd see what he looks like. This kid was massively obese. And then I saw the parents at a parent-teacher conference. You think they were ripped? You think they were in shape? No. They looked just like the kid. So the kid looked just like the parents. He was mimicking the parents. He was mirroring the parents. So if that is you, if I'm being very truthful and honest with you, okay? I also was out of shape and undisciplined at one point. Sloppy. That's why I changed, though. I was ripped and disciplined for a lot of my life. I got married, got kind of overwhelmed with marriage and kids and different failures I had. So there was a period of time, some years, where I got really undisciplined and fat and sloppy. But I got disgusted with myself. I got to a point where I said, enough. Not going to do this anymore. And I made a change. I invested in myself, hired coaches, hired mentors, joined men's programs, and changed my life. So I changed. Now I'm in the best shape of my life, helping other guys do the same thing. But this guy's fear is a legitimate one. He said, probably my biggest fear is that my kids are as overweight as I am. Let me tell you, man, that's the truth. That will happen if you don't make a change. Absolutely. The next one. Someone said, be more patient and understanding when my toddler has a freak out. So many guys have this problem, impatience with their kids, and they lose their patience, they flip out, they get angry and upset at their kids whenever their kids get upset. And we talked about this on our Wednesday morning brotherhood call for the Men of Fire program. We had a nice large group on, nice and early, 9 a.m. EST, and we were talking about, we're just spilling our guts. We're saying, what did we do over the past couple of days? Like, why are we assholes? Basically was what it was. It was, what did we do recently that we're feel crappy about, and we screwed up as a dad. I went first. I said, the toilet was clogged upstairs, and both of my kids kept on pissing and shitting on it, and I got mad, and I snapped. And then Nathan said to me, hey, Dad, you didn't have to yell at us. That was my share. I said, I'm the leader. I started off. I said, this is me being an asshole. I snapped and I yelled at them. I said, why are you guys peeing and crapping all over this dry pile of toilet paper? And so I lost my patience. I did. And then every guy after guy went around and told stories about how they lost their patience. And just purely sharing that to another man helps heal you, and it helps heal another guy. So one of them talked about how whenever he procrastinates with his own work, it spills out onto his family, and then they make bad decisions because of what he did. So he procrastinated with work or with plans or with something he had to do, which caused his wife and children to be in a bind. And then because of that, they don't react perfectly, and they make bad decisions because of the situation the father put them in. And then the father then yells at them for the situation he puts them in. So because of the father's procrastination, the kids are rushing. The kids make mistakes because of the father's procrastination, and they're rushing. And then because of the mistakes the kids make, the father yells at them. It all comes back to the father. Extreme ownership, as Jocko says. So a lot of times when we procrastinate, we're very unpresent, and we wreak havoc on the rest of our family. I know for me, if my kids get home at 4 o'clock and my time blocking list is not complete, I'm a very unpleasant person. I can be an asshole. Because in my head, I have a list of things and projects I have to get done. I have a list of things I have to get done. And if I procrastinate throughout the day, if I was scrolling instead of working, if I wasn't efficient with my time, if I didn't prepare well, if I skipped my wake-up time and slept in, and now I'm rushing and my kids get home, I can't be present with them. I'm thinking about everything I didn't get done. That's why these systems are extremely important. That's why that's part of what we do, is we have systems in place to make us a better father. If you're more professional and organized with your work, you can be more present with your wife, with your kids, because everything is done. You're not thinking about it. You don't have any tabs open. You open your computer and you have 20 tabs open. That's what it's like whenever you have unfinished business and your family gets home. You want to close all those tabs, have everything done, and you can be present with them. Because the negative side is we're not present, and we lose our patience extremely easily because we procrastinate. Also, there's a frustration that happens whenever your toddlers freak out, whenever your kids get upset, fight. A lot of guys can't handle when their kids fight. You feel this rage building in you. You feel this heat. You feel this warmth kind of coming up your chest from their stomach, goes from your stomach up to your chest, and then you can't handle it, and you say something you regret. But you can deal with that. You can take deep, slow breaths. You can remove yourself from the situation, and you can, most importantly, have perspective that the thing you're about to say is a demonstration of your lack of emotional control right now and lack of discipline. And it's going to be out of your body in a second, but it's going to live with your kids forever. So the thing you have to get off your chest, that you spew out because you're frustrated, will leave you for a second, but it will live with your kids forever. So when you're losing your patience, have that perspective. Someone said, I need to have drive and routine. And these, what I'm reading right now, are responses to our applications for our Men of Fire program. I said, why do you need to join us? What do you need to do? Someone said, I need to have drive and routine. I've lost myself since having kids. That happened to me. I had kids and I lost myself, not because of my kids, but because of me. Because I didn't build myself. I took on a lot of responsibility, but I didn't raise myself. And some people have it mixed up. Some people say, I have chaos and a massive increase in responsibility coming my way, so I need to lay low. I need to relax and ride this out. How does that make sense? You have immense struggle and obstacle coming your way, so shouldn't you need to build yourself into somebody who can handle that? If a war is coming, do you need to get stronger, or is it nap time? And that's what it is whenever you have little kids and you're trying to get promoted at work and you're trying to have a great relationship with your wife. It's a war. It's a battle. Every single day is a battle. You're scratching away at your shadow self, trying to be the absolute best man you can become. You're trying to not let resistance and obstacles hold you down. Every single minute, every single hour, every single day. You have to battle to become the absolute best man you can. So you have to build yourself. You want to be resilient. You want to be strong. You want to be the lighthouse, like we say in the Men of Fire program. You want to be immovable. Be that rock that lights and warms the way. So you need a routine in place. Every one of my program, you come in, you get a morning routine. Wake up time. What are the 4 or 5 things you're going to do before your family wakes up? Work out is a great one. Journal, great one. Breath work, great one. Listen to podcasts, read a book. Do something that builds you as a man. The 365 days can go by, and at the end of that, you say, look back on these 365 days. I've built myself into a savage badass. Nothing can hurt me. Because say you wake up at 4 a.m., and for 3 hours, you have worked out, you've journaled, you've meditated, you've read a book, you've planned your day, you've done an act of service for your wife, you've cleaned the house, and then 7 o'clock hits, your family wakes up. How do you think you're going to feel? You're going to feel amazing. Simple. It's easy. Easy to do, simple to do. Also easy not to do. It's easy not to do these things. But I promise you, if you do them over and over and over again, you are going to feel amazing. Someone said, indecisiveness that leads to me seeming weak and not confident. Not seeming weak is weak and not confident. Indecisiveness. Part of that is perfectionism. That's thinking that you have to be perfect to make a decision, which is also stems from weakness. Perfectionism also stems from being weak because you don't trust yourself in the failure. For you can only survive if the outcome is predicted, the outcome is predetermined, and the system is rigged for you to be successful. That's what perfectionism is. It's I'm not going to attempt this unless the outcome is perfect. Because if the outcome is perfect, the pure thought of me not getting a perfect outcome scares the living hell out of me, and I don't think I could survive in that environment. That's what perfectionism is. It's a fear of your lack of confidence in yourself. So what if I step into this room and I say the wrong thing, I look the wrong way, people are judging me, people think I look weird, sound weird, and I'm not successful? Well, I'm just not going to even go into this room. I'm going to stay home because the outcome might not be perfect. Or you could say, I'll go into this room, I'll make some failures, I'll make some mistakes, it's okay. Like this Instagram live podcast right now, I'm going to make some mistakes. I may burp, I may fart, I may do something embarrassing. It's okay. Doesn't matter. I don't care. I can survive. I have confidence in myself. It is okay. But whenever you're indecisive, you can't make a decision. That's from a lack of confidence in yourself. You don't believe yourself anymore. Indecisiveness comes from you repeatedly over and over again proving yourself that you can't be trusted. It's you told yourself every day for the last 30 days you'd get up at 5 and you got up at 5:45 or 6:30. So whenever you think of a future decision, should I choose A or B, you can't make up your mind because whether you choose A or B doesn't mean anything to you. You don't know that you're going to hold to A or B. If you choose A, you might bail. If you choose B, you might bail. Choosing a decision, choosing a response, a result means nothing to you because you always break your promises to yourself. You have to keep the promises you make to yourself for you to be decisive, trust your gut again, and make quick decisions. You also have to be willing to take risks, invest in yourself, do things that scare you. Jump off that cliff into the lake, the one that's a little higher than that you want to do. Invest in yourself, a little more than you're used to. Have that conversation with your wife, the one that's going to be a little more confrontational, has a little more truth, but it's going to save the marriage. Once you do these things that are fearful but need to happen, you start to inspire confidence and build your own identity. But you have to do things over and over again. You have to prove to yourself who you are over and over again to build back that confidence. If you're indecisive, it's because you have proven to yourself you can't be trusted to make a decision through millions of decisions over and over again. It's you saying you're going to do something and you don't. It's you telling your wife you're going to do a project and then you don't. It's saying this is the year I'm going to get in shape and then you don't. It's saying I saw this guy's post that motivated me. I'm gonna change my life, and then the next morning comes and you feel completely different, and you once again broke a promise to yourself. Staying in that cycle for years and decades and breaking promises to yourself thousands or millions of times creates an unconfident, weak, indecisive man who just worms his way through life. You don't trust yourself. You have no identity. You crumble. You're weak. You slither through life because over and over and over again, you've proven to yourself that you can't be trusted. You don't even trust yourself. So whenever you say, I'm going to do this, in the back of your head, you think, no, I'm not. And if you can't trust you, you think your wife trusts you? Heck no. Your wife is probably managing the bank account. She's probably covering the credit card. She's probably organizing everything. She's probably the rock of the family because she can sense weakness in you and you can't be trusted. You're not the leader of the family. But that can be fixed. That can all be fixed. How can it be fixed? Well, you need to start small. You need to wake up when you say you do. You need to start going to the gym again. You need to start tracking your macros. You need to start eating healthy. You need to start building yourself. You don't need to set a goal for some ridiculous, inspiring feat. You just need to get up in the morning. That's it. I was talking to some guys about building a brand, building a social media presence, building an online business. And when someone asked a question about algorithms and SEO, I said, no. You just need to post every single day. That's all you have to do. The simple, basic things. You need to prove to yourself that you can be consistent. Until you can do that, we're not going to worry about anything else. It's like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You have to do the basics first. And then lastly, someone says, I want to be physically fit so I can... I need to be physically fit so I can give her the best of myself, improve our sex life, and have energy to do things recreationally after work. Yeah, that is the time that you show up. This is your most important time. That is lifetime. This is the time between when you get home from work and go to sleep. Those are the hours of your life you are going to remember the most. And what phase of life are you going to remember the most? It's when you have kids. So if you're overwhelmed, stressed out, out of shape, no energy during these hours, what life are you going to remember? Whenever things are calm and you're retired and sitting on a golf cart, that's what you're going to look back? No, you're not going to remember those. The chaotic, crazy, insane times right now are the times you're going to remember. You don't want to think back to these times when you had kids, of you being so out of shape and have zero energy. You were just sitting on the couch and drinking a beer and watching TV as your kids were staring at you, begging for you to get off the couch and go play outside with them. Asking you so many times until they finally give up and go over to their friend's house and play with their friend's dad. I can't tell you how many times I go to the park and I just get swarmed by kids because I'm running around a playground with my son and daughter so much. And if you're one of those dads, you know it's true. You're at the playground and you're running around with your kids. You look down, there's a kid under your elbow, there's a kid under your knee, they're grabbing your socks, they're just like everywhere. Because they want that presence so much. They so badly want an energetic father to play with them. And then you look over and you see some dad drinking a Coke, scrolling his phone, with his shirt barely covering his stomach, sitting on the bench, and his kid is playing with me. Or he's playing with another dad. And then, that dad's saying, the timing isn't right now. Life's getting in the way. I can't do anything. Right then he could be burning calories, playing with his kid. Yeah, these guys said, I want to be physically fit so I can give my wife the best of me. Yes. Don't you want to be sexy for your wife? It feels good. You know what makes a man feel powerful? Knowing his wife wants him. That's what makes a man feel powerful and confident. Knowing that his wife wants him. Physically. Sexually. That's what makes a man feel on fire and great. Not, hey, let's make this room pitch black into a cave so we can't see each other. Nothing good about that. That doesn't feel good. Promise you. It feels great when you both get to a point where you actually enjoy having sex with the lights on. And your wife is flirtatious with you, wants to have sex with you, and you have the energy to do that. And things are passionate again like they once were. It's a beautiful, amazing time. Sex is extremely important in a marriage. Many guys go years without having sex. And there's probably people who are going to listen to this and are going to say, yep, that's me. Months, 6 months, 12 months, 2 years without that. And the crack in their marriage just grows and grows and grows. Guess what? You need to fix you. You need to build you. You need to turn yourself into a savage badass of a man. That's the only thing you can do. You can't control your wife. The only thing you can do is build yourself into a person who magnetizes people. That's it. It's the only thing you can do. So what do? You go to the gym again. You get disciplined again. You do the basics. You build yourself into a disciplined person. You don't wake up randomly and let the day happen to you. You decide the night before what your day is going to look like. You time block every single hour. So I'm going to wake up at this time. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to cold plunge. I'm going to go in the sauna, blah, 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 blah. Whatever your morning routine is going to be for you, you say this is what it's going to be, and then you goddamn do it. That's it. No negotiables. No excuses. Not life gets in the way. This is the life you have. Life doesn't get in the way. You need to do this life. If you are not physically fit, if you don't love and respect yourself, you don't like the way you look, your sex life is going to suffer. You're going to be embarrassed. You're going to want to have the lights off. You're going to be so self-conscious. You're going to be worried about what your wife thinks of you. You're going to be very unconfident in the bedroom. All that can be fixed. Wouldn't you want all that to be fixed? What would you pay to have all that fixed? I can tell you, whenever I was in the worst of my worst shape, I would have paid, back 5-6 years ago when I was at my fattest, if I could see myself now, there was a guy who said, hey, you pay me this, tomorrow you will look like this, feel like this, have the habits of that. I would have given someone $50,000. So give it to me right now. I want to live that life. Because guess what? That guy can make more money anyway because he's disciplined. But every single thing a disciplined man touches is different. I told the guys in my group, it's like the Midas touch. Everything you touch is gold. Everyone you speak to gets a different man. Every person you interact with at work gets a different man. Whenever you are confident, love yourself, respect yourself, and are disciplined, and once you've built yourself into a leader. And then lastly, have energy to do things recreationally after work. Like we just said, you get home from work, your kids want to play with you. Are you sitting on the couch, or is that go time? Is that the time that you actually live, get up, and spend a lot of time with your family? You're not going to remember what happens between 9 and 5. You are going to remember what happens between 5 and 9. Those are the hours of your life that matter the most. So if that is sleepy time for you, if that's drink beer, watch Netflix, and scroll time for you, then man, you're missing out on your life. And a lot of times you say, well, next year things will slow down and I'll have time to go to the gym. Just know you're lying to yourself, and it will be too late, and your kids will be gone. That is the truth. Many kids, at our men's retreat, guy after guy stood up and talked about how their fathers were absent from their life, from stress, from choosing to not be with them, just a complete lack of caring about being in their child's life, or from being so bankrupt emotionally and having no discipline and letting their lives crumble that mentally and emotionally they weren't there for their kids. They were unpresent. That happens to many guys. You have the choice, though, to not let that happen to you. Do you want that to happen to your kids? Do you want to put your kids through that? No. So make a change right now. If there's something that you know is stopping you from being the father your family needs, make the change right now. Is it alcohol? Are you drinking too much? You say, oh, I'm not an alcoholic. And I say, how much do you drink? You say 4 to 5 glasses a night. You're an alcoholic. You have a problem. It's killing your testosterone. It's killing your energy. It's making you sleepy. It's killing your sex drive. And it's killing everything in your life. Stop. Well, I'm addicted to weed, cigarettes. I eat my feelings. I drink my feelings. I watch porn, blah, blah, blah. I'm not present at all. I'm failing at my family, so I drown myself at work, which is something many guys do. I need to find success somewhere. I'm not finding it home, so I find it at work. Identify it. Write down the thing that is holding you back. Cut it out of your life and decide to rise today, not tomorrow. If you're listening to this, you still have hours left in the day. And guys, I'm going to end there. That is the end of this podcast. Let me see if there's anything I need to answer here. Feel free to message me at any time. You can message me on Instagram anytime. Send me a DM. Happy to chat. But this will be put out on our Rising Father podcast for the next episode. I think it's episode 82 or something. Go back through the last episodes. We had some killer episodes, the last 5 ones, so make sure you go back there. That podcast is everywhere. Guys, I will see you.